I'm your host, Jonathan Wade, and this show is all about peeling back the layers of success, struggle, and impact. Teaching isn't just about lesson plans and textbooks. It's about shaping lives, breaking cycles, and being a constant source of guidance and inspiration. Our guest today knows this firsthand. She's been in the classroom working with students since 2018, navigating the highs and lows of education, and making an impact where it matters most. Kelsie, welcome to Do Not Disturb podcast.
Hey y'all.
Tell us about your upbringing in Brooklyn. How did it shape your outlook in education?
Yeah, if you ever grew up in like a Caribbean household or an African household, they put school like on a different level than anything else. Like for them, school is your way to success. Right. Just make sure you do what you gotta do in school. So that was always something that was like really big in the house. Like you can't go outside, your homework not done. And that started from like just elementary school. Like there's certain things that you couldn't do unless your schoolwork was done, unless you got good remarks or whatever. So that was something that always was in the background. And then just seeing the way people lived and the way I wanted to like live in adulthood. Yeah. Because I watched a lot of TV, a lot of black movies, a lot of classic movies, and I saw things that were bigger than Brooklyn. Right. And like I love music videos. Right. So like 106 in Park, that was big. Being in New York, 106 in Park like is a big deal. So even just watching music videos, like dang, I want to go where they film beautiful at. I want to go where they just filmed this video at. I just saw something bigger than Brooklyn, and I saw school as my ticket out.
I love that. How did you get the I guess the drive and the will to say, well, this is along the line of what I wanted to do with everything else that I've experienced?
I always knew I was going to a HBCU.
Love that.
Told y'all I watched a lot of black movies, a lot of black TV. I don't think there's many black movies that I didn't see from like 70s, 80s, 90s. Like I've seen in all of them, mostly all of them, I guess. And HBCUs were like a big backdrop in a lot of those movies. So I would be walking through high school like, I'm going to Howard, like freshman year of high school. I'm going to Howard. I'm going to the number one HBCU. I'm going to Howard. Like, ate like a hype, right? Mind you, I didn't know anybody that went to an HBCU personally. I don't even think I knew anybody that like left Brooklyn to go to school for real. Like, I had like cousins that did things, but like in my immediate like family, like what I saw every day, I didn't see a lot of people going to college. So when I saw it on TV, I'm like, yo, that's lit. Like I remember watching Stomp the Yard, like, oh, that's Drumline, like that's college. I'm going to college. What you mean? And like even like a Drumline, like Clark Ellen is a real school, like they're filming it on these campuses. I'm like, yo, that's college. I'm going to a black college. Like it was just undeniable, right? Mind you, I'm this black girl from Brooklyn, both Caribbean parents. Don't know too much about the South other than Jim Crow and racism, right? Like I know the history of it, but I don't really know much about the South. So I get to Spelman, big-eyed, very Brooklyn, sneakers, very chill, right? And I'm thinking I know so much about black people because I grew up in all black neighborhoods. I only went to black schools. I didn't have any white friends. I had a couple Latino friends, but I didn't have any white friends. Like I didn't talk to black. I didn't have any white people in my circle, right? So here I am thinking I know so much about the black experience because I've grown up in all these black spaces, and I didn't know anything at all. Like I was really touching the surface. So Spelman taught me a lot about just like what it means to be black, what it means to be black in a world that doesn't always look like you. That's real. What it means to be a sister, what it means to be a friend, what does it mean to be an ally, a support, and all of that is education. Yeah. Like how do you be an ally to students that look different than you or come from different backgrounds than you or have different experiences than you? How do you support families that might be navigating tough situations? Absolutely. How do you teach the kids how to be a friend? How do you teach the girls to be a girl's girl, to celebrate each other and like be sisterly to each other, even if you don't like each other? That's real. So all of those like little things that I learned at Spelman, they all reflect what I do every single day. And It's an invaluable experience that I would never trade for the world.
That's it. What did you study again at Miss Plummer?
So I studied psychology and then I minored in education.
What key lessons did you take away from your psychology studies that apply to your classrooms today?
Behavior, consequence, rewards. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But he had, I don't know if it was a theory or like an experiment or whatever, where he like did it with the dogs, and he realized that if you train the dogs with like consequence and reward systems, then you can not control their behavior, but you can train them to be a certain kind of way.
Okay.
Very similar with the classroom. Like if you create, and not even classroom, just in life, for real. If there's consequences and rewards for everything, then you walk within the lines or within the perimeter or not, because of what you know will happen after.
Okay.
So that was one thing I learned about just behavior. Another thing I learned was like the hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
Which basically says that if humans' basic needs are not met, there's not much they can do beyond that. So like, if I think about it specifically with the classroom, you have a kid that's hungry.
Okay.
He's not going to do any work. She's not going to do any work because their basic need is not met. So they need the food, and then you can probably access a different level that you need them to get whatever you want, or to do the work that you need them to do. So just understanding that behavior and actions, like they go together, like they're the same thing. And your actions don't necessarily determine like who you are as a person. Sometimes you could act out of situation, you can act out of not knowing. And I think just psychology kind of just gave me a little more empathy to just like understand people's situation differently, because it isn't always black and white.
Right. No.
So academically, you like measure where they are, like there's assessments and stuff.
Okay.
Right? So like, to know if I have impacted them, I would look at where they started. I'll look at the data where they started, and then look at the end of year data and see if they've grown.
Got it.
However, even like with tests like that too, there's like flaws in the system. So it's like a collective group of data that I use to figure out, did they grow? Like, for example, like a kid might be super, super smart, and they come in on like early 5th grade level, and then they leave on end of 5th grade level. So that means like I made enough impact for them to learn something more, that they came in higher than when they left higher than they came in. And then behaviorally, it's like, okay, you were really, really shy in August. Now we're in May and you can't shut up. So there's some impact in the way that you're operating, because now you feel comfortable enough to talk in the space.
Right.
So you were able to get out of your shell, and I had some type of impact on it.
Love that. How do you think the education system in DMV compares to Brooklyn, where you grew up, essentially?
It's so different because, well, I don't know. I feel like I might be a little biased or not have enough information because I never taught in New York.
Got it.
So like when I was growing up in school, it looks totally different from how they grew up in school. Like my coming up, we didn't really have computers readily accessible.
Got it.
We didn't have like smartphones on you. Like, you know, like it's so different now. Kids these days, they have tablets, they have phones, they don't watch TV, they watch YouTube.
Right.
I was watching TV and YouTube. Right? Remember Shorty that fell? What's her name?
Charlotte took a tumble.
Charlotte took a tumble, right? Like that, like there's moments like that on YouTube, like the early stages of YouTube, but like TV, we was watching TV. These kids don't really watch TV like that.
Right.
I do know, like in the DMV, they get a lot of support. Like the parents get a lot of school support, which is great. Like if they communicate what they need or what they don't have or what they need access to, the district, and I can only speak for DCPS. I can't really speak for any other district. The district, I think they do a good job, or at least the schools that I've been at do a good job of giving parents support, supporting students and meeting them where they are. But I can't really. I don't know what it's like in New York. A little small part of me wants to teach in New York, just to see if the kids are the same.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
To that point, we're from New York, and so how do you approach conversations about mental health and emotional well-being in your classrooms? I mean, going back to the settings and environments and what they come home from and come home to, they're in your classroom, and sometimes that impacts the learning ability. So what do you say to that?
Yeah, no, it's a big difference from when I was in school versus when these kids in school, they get so much support.
Yeah.
Because before, when I was coming up in school, ain't no mental health day.
Yeah.
Sit down and do the work. Ain't no, I'm frustrated, I need a minute. No, I'm about to call your mom.
Right.
You don't have a minute, right? I think we're in an era or a time period where we acknowledge mental health a lot more.
Right.
And we give people the support and give kids the support that they might need.
Okay.
So in the classroom, we're encouraged to have calm down spaces. Or when you start to see, and you as a teacher, you know when your kids is about to get to their point. I think if you're a good teacher, you know when your kids are reaching their point.
Right.
So you gotta keep your head on a swivel to peep that, and then like, you know what? Go get some water and come back. Go take a minute, go get some water and come back, and get yourself together, okay?
That's fair.
And then we can talk when you come back if you're still frustrated. Taking the time to do that versus when we was coming up. So you're not gonna do the work? Oh, so you want me to call which number? You want me to call your mom or your dad? And whichever one you say, I'm gonna call the opposite because that's who you don't want me to call, right? So it's just we give kids more space to have these feelings and feel these feelings, and I think as educators, it's important to teach them that your feeling isn't wrong. It's the action behind the feeling that might be wrong, like. Oh, your frustration is fair. You throwing pencils across the room is not. Right? So how do we address the frustration without being unsafe? And I think that's kind of the difference.
I think you raise a really, really, really good point. What advice would you give young Black women considering a career in education?
Leave that job when you clock out. It's like, no, I mean, as a young teen, like I used to take work home.
Okay.
Like the load was coming home, the kids was coming home with me. Like I found I used to overextend myself for the greater good.
Okay.
Like, I just want to help the kids. I just want to impact the kids. I can't wait to change lives, right? And like overextending yourself to a point of burnout.
Right.
Where like if you do this for 2-3 years straight, where you picking kids up because they can't get to school, or you dropping kids off, or you're staying late to set it up, and then you bringing it home with you, you end up not having a work-life balance, and you burn out. And then I see a lot of good teachers burn out so quick because they're just overextending themselves.
Right.
So my advice would be to really sit and think about your boundaries when it comes to work and home and how you want to implement it, right? Like, I'm not saying you're never going to take work home, because sometimes you just naturally do. But taking work home Monday through Friday and then going in the building on Saturday and then trying to do, like, it's just like, when did you take time for yourself?
Right.
And my advice would be, you can't save everybody. You're not going to impact everybody. You're going to be a villain in somebody's story, right? However, if you know you did what you could, what was in the scope of your range, and you stood within your boundaries, and you still showed up your best self for kids, then that's all we can ask you to do.
What are some misconceptions people have about teaching profession?
Stop telling teachers that you gotta have patience. That's the first thing they say. Like, oh, you're a teacher? Oh, you must have patience. I couldn't do it. Yes and no. I have patience for students. Under 18, you don't know too much about the world, so I can give you a lot of benefit of the doubt, right? You don't know, so I can't be upset with you for not knowing.
Right.
Adults, you should have known better. You shouldn't have done. I have patience, but I don't really. Like, when it comes to adults, it's like, bro, why would you say that? Right. Why did you think that made sense? You didn't like, and I could translate it to the same way, but it's like they have but so much of 10 years of experience in the world.
How would you say your teaching style evolved since maybe 2018 when you first started teaching?
Oh wow, I was a novice. Okay. So I don't know if you watch Abbott. If you watch Abbott,
right? Is that real? Is it real?
Very real.
Okay. I
don't feel like they got some teachers in the writing room because I would be sitting watching the episode like, wow, that just happened. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's almost like triggering a little bit. Like, yeah, that's crazy. So my first year teaching, I think like I was like Janine. Okay. Her first year, very, ooh, I'm gonna change the world. Okay. Like I'm gonna, I love the kids, whatever they want. And, you know, incentivize and glitz and glamour. And then somewhere around that 3-4 year mark, I was like, I can't do this. I can't save every kid. I can't help every kid. It's not a realistic task. Got it. Because in a classroom, I might, in one school year, I might have 40 kids, right? Like I teach 40 kids throughout the school year. There's gonna be a couple that just don't like you, that just don't mess with you. Like they don't, y'all are not on the same wavelength. And it's always gonna be a couple. And those you will try your hardest to build a relationship and do all these things, and they just not your vibe. So it's like, at what point do you just say like, I can't, I'm not your person. Right. So I'm gonna find you your person so that you can still feel loved and included, and like that's your go-to. Right. But I can't save everybody. That's fair. And like I can't put myself in everybody's shoes and trying to understand everybody's perspective because it's just not realistic. That's right. And you will legit burn yourself out and be no good to anybody. What's one piece of advice you wish you had received before becoming a teacher? And to the advice that to what you just said, I feel like that was a good advice, but was it something you received before? I feel like I might have heard it, but you know, when you novice, you big-eyed, bright-eyed. Oh, she's just pessimistic. Like that, it just didn't work for her. So you know, if I do it my way, right, my outcome is gonna be different. Right. It's like sometimes that is the case. Yeah. It wasn't the case for me. Like I found myself getting burnt out. Like, yo, I'm tired of teaching. Like I can't do this anymore. And it's not necessarily because kids were bad, right? Like I think when there's a big misconception that teachers leave the classroom because the kids are bad. Sometimes that is true. Most of the times it's not the case. Got it. A lot of the time it's literally burnout, right? You feel like you're underpaid, or you feel like you're not being heard by your admin. You feel like you're taking a lot of work home. You don't have a work-life balance because you're doing so much, right? Like you already don't get paid what you feel like you're worth because you're a teacher and a nurse and a therapist and a thought partner and you wear all of these hats all throughout the day. Right. So you're feeling like you're not getting paid enough, right? And then you also want to celebrate the kids on this salary that's already not enough. So like, all the kids got this percentage and met this goal. Okay, now I need to find something to give them because they earned this reward, right? So, and for me, the bigger the reward, you know, the better. So I'm gonna try to outdo myself every single time. So I found myself, so we gonna do a pancake party. Oh, we gonna do a cereal party. Oh, we gonna do like all slime party, right? Like all these different things. Yes, it's exciting, it's fun, it's money, it's time consuming outside of the academics. And it's just really easy to burn out when you don't feel supported by, not even just like your colleagues, but like your admin. You don't feel supported by like your parents. Like it's a tough job because we wear so many hats. So my advice would just be like the boundaries. Love it. Like find them, find what they are, find what you're willing to push past and what you're not, and like stick to it so that you can still be good for kids. Right. I love that. That was really, really good advice. If you can change one thing about the education system, what would it be? Because I mean, obviously the experience as a teacher might look different for everyone, to your point, because of, you know, the advice, the perspective, the journey. But for you,
What's one thing you would say could change about the education system that would make it fair for any teacher, every teacher, and that's looking to apply, especially if it's Black?
I would say just equal out the resources.
Okay.
And the second thing would be pay. I think DC teachers get paid decent, but there's some districts that don't pay their teachers well at all, which is like crazy considering all of the work that you do.
Right.
But my first thing would be to equal out the resources, and not necessarily equality, maybe on the equity side, because there's some schools, like some schools might have a higher special needs population.
Got it.
So they need a different set of resources than a school that might have a lower socioeconomic status, right? Like they might need different resources. So I think like making the schools equitable, where schools are getting what they need, so that students can feel successful. Because a lot of the times the schools itself, like public schools, are just underfunded. Like there's just not enough money. There's not enough money for the after school activities. There's not enough money for good teachers to stay after school. There's not enough money for the good programs to come in. There's not enough money for new books every year, or newer books, or diverse books. So like the school's budget, might depend on the principal and what they decide to spend it on. However, some schools' money gets cut. So it's like if we as a country could just find a way to make it equitable, where schools literally get what they need for their population of students, for their population of teachers, then I think we could at least begin the conversation of starting to build like that accountability piece, starting the conversation about just making sure kids are set up for success. And participation trophies. You don't get everybody don't get a trophy. I think that's a cultural thing probably, because we need to move from that. You showed up and you get a treat. No, that's the bare minimum. Like, let's raise the bar just a smidge.
I love it. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years in education?
Right here, teaching in DC. If they'll have me, it's like I do enjoy DCPS. I started off in a charter school.
Okay.
Learned a lot, like a ton. I wouldn't be the teacher I am today if I didn't have that experience. Once I went to public school, I just felt like that boundary I was talking about, that like burnout.
Yeah.
At the charter school, I was feeling a little bit of burnout because it's like it's intense. Like there's a lot that they want you to do so that you can be successful for kids, right?
Yeah.
The intent is in the right place. However, the teachers go quick because they're asking you to do so much, right? So once I got to DCPS, not only was the pay better, but I just felt like I learned so much in that charter school experience. I was able to thrive.
Love that.
In DCPS. And sometimes, there's days you be like, I don't want to do it. But that's because you're in your feelings in that moment, right? Like you might have just got cursed out and you're like, nah, fuck this. Who you talking to, right? Like you have a moment, because we're human too. Teachers are human too.
Hear that?
Our feelings get hurt. If you're a parent and you cussing out your teachers, they might have deserved it, might not. I don't know what the situation is. But our feelings gets hurts too, right? So like a kid calling you out, calling you stupid, and I don't gotta listen to you, and like, it's like, whoa, hold on, you're wild, and like my niece and nephew don't talk to me like this, like chill out, right? So your feelings get hurt. So then you have that, fuck the kids, I'm out, I don't want to do it anymore. But when I come back to reality, it's like, all right, come on, let's try again tomorrow.
Right.
You still don't like me today? You still holding on to it? And I think that's like the joy of it. There's no career that you get 6 to 8 weeks off in the summer. There's no career where you get a week off for Christmas and holiday break. There's no career where you get a whole week off in April for spring break. And you still are getting paid, right? And then there's other opportunities, at least in DCPS, there's other opportunities to make money on top of that, like with after school and like after school programs and stuff. So when I think about that as well, It's like, I love my summer breaks.
No,
I love my holidays, and I don't have to worry about PTO, and I love that feeling. I love my school community. I love my kids right now. They get on my nerves. They hurt my feelings sometimes. You can't tell them that they hurt. They like a punch.
And let them sweat.
You can't let them see that you hurt a little bit. But in hindsight, like, it is very rewarding.
Love it.
Every day is a different day. And you don't know. One day he chilling. One day he turning up. Then you gotta be like, all right, friend, why we turning up? Let's calm down. Let's try a strategy. Like, every day is like, you don't know.
So how do you handle difficult students or situations where engagements are low?
Child. Okay, so I like to think of teaching as a toolbox.
Okay.
Right? So, like, if you're gonna hang a picture, you're gonna use a hammer and nails.
Got it.
If you're gonna build your IKEA furniture, you got a screwdriver, your drill, right? So teaching is like that. Every scenario might need a different tool.
Okay.
So when engagement is low, it might be because kids is tired.
Okay.
Or it's boring. And I think reading or ELA could be a boring subject sometimes.
Okay.
Because it's very repetitive. Like, we read the text, ask questions, discussion, right? It could get boring. So you have to get creative in how you engage kids. And so when I'm teaching and it's low, I might be like, okay, hold on, let's stop, y'all. Let's take a break. Y'all look tired. What's going on? How are we feeling? Right? Like, do a post check, a hard stop, and then I might throw an incentive like, all right, if we can get through this and y'all raise your hand, y'all participate, we might could have 5 minutes of free choice at the end. But that's only if we knock this lesson out. And they be like, all right, I got your break. Okay. So, like, I give them an incentive.
Yeah.
If it's really bad and it's like the same kids raising their hand, I might go on my snack drawer like, oh, here you go, catch a Rice Krispie treat because you are on it. You the only kid that came to learn today. And I'll be like, it's only he came to learn today? Ain't nobody else trying to grow their brain today? That's crazy. Come get a snack just for coming to school and showing up. Like, you trying, right?
That's cool.
So that's when engagement is low. So then when there's a difficult kid, it could also be because they can't access it, like it's too hard. Okay. Or they just having a moment. So that's when you gotta tap into your other toolbox, like, yo, go take a walk. Go take a walk, come back. Right? So I might send them on a walk, go get some water, come back. I might be like, yo, step outside real quick. Right? Because the one thing you don't want to do is ever put on a show in front of the class. Right. Unless, I mean, sometimes it might work. Most times it does not. Because if that kid is feeling big and bold that day, they're going to step to you. And now you've created the perfect environment for him to have or her to have entertainment. That's right. So, you know, yo, let's go outside and talk real quick. You look like you're frustrated. Let's go talk real quick. So I'll give the kids something to do and then step outside. Well, I'll let the person go outside first, give them some time, collect your thoughts, then I'll go check on them. Like, okay, so what's up? Like, what we doing? Why we can't? Whatever. And that takes knowing your kids. And like, I realized in a lot of the schools that I've taught at, like I taught in Ward 7 and Ward 8 of DC. And if you know that in DC, that's like majority black kids, brown kids. Got it. They're relationship kids. But if you think about it, like, we as black people, we're just people. We're relationship people. Like, we don't just, most people don't just start talking and telling your business just because you look nice, right? Like, you have to build a rapport. Exactly. So a lot of what teaching is with my students and like my black and brown kids is you have to build a relationship. One, be relatable, but two, also like, yo, you want to have lunch? Like, so tell me about this, and like just lean into like really getting to know them as people because they are little humans.
I love that.
And they have thoughts, they have ideas, and you have to get to know them as little humans so that they can get to a place where they also respect you as the authority figure. Now, I'm not telling you to go in there and be no punk, right? Like, put your foot down, but you have to have a relationship with certain kids. Right. Because I have some difficult students that I could fuss at them, like, sit down, stop playing. And they'll sit down and stop playing. Versus, I've had kids tell me, like, Miss McGhie, when you scream at me, that just makes me more mad. It makes me frustrated. That's real. And as an adult, you probably
it's good communication, first of all. But,
as an adult, sometimes, you know, you can get in your way, like, what do you mean? Like, you supposed to listen to me. And it's like, no, if If this is supposed to be a relationship, if this is supposed to be a learning partnership, right? I have to be able to take that feedback. Like, you know what, you're right.
Right.
My bad. When I yell at you, it's because Miss McGhie is frustrated, and that's probably not fair.
Right.
So let's try something else. How about, like I did this maybe like a few weeks ago, I was like, so I know that yelling makes you frustrated. I got you. What we can try moving forward, I'm going to just give you a look. Mm-hmm. And once you see me give you that look, you should know to stop playing because Miss McGhie is on her way to reaching her point. Mm-hmm. And can we agree on that? He's like, all right, I got you. Mm-hmm. So we have a non-verbal thing. So I don't have to say, hey, stop doing this.
Okay.
And you tighten up. Or I'll be like, yo, you about to take me to my point, just go get some water before I get mad.
Okay.
And because we have a relationship that works versus with another kid that might not work.
Right.
You know? So it's all about the relationship and tapping into your toolbox.
I love that you make it an important thing to know your student individually as well. How do you approach creating a safe space and inclusive and learning environment for your students?
Yeah, I mean, you can't have that relationship if they don't feel safe.
That's real. That's real.
So you have to do that work on the back end, or I guess on the front. Is that the back? I guess it's the back end. You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. Yeah. Like, first day of school, yes, you're like getting to know each other, but you're also setting expectations. Like, hey, I expect you to come into school and try your best. I don't care if the answer is right. I don't care if the answer is wrong. I care that you come in here and say what you're thinking, because we can't learn from each other if you don't say anything.
Absolutely.
And it's like, well, what do you guys need from me to help you be successful? And they might say some outlandish things. And that's the start of the conversation. Like, all right, y'all, well, you know I can't do that, right? Like, Miss McGhie is not rich. I can't buy you Chick-fil-A every week. Right. But what we can do is maybe if the whole class does this, then the whole class can start to earn this, and at the end of the month you can get a party. How does that work?
Right.
So like that's like one way. Also letting kids know that there's a space within the room that you can go to and access when you're feeling frustrated, when you need a minute, when you just need to get yourself together. Here's your calm down corner. Respect it, own it, put boundaries on it, right? You can't just sit here, I don't feel like doing the work, I'm just sitting in the calm down corner. Right. It doesn't work like that. You're feeling frustrated, you can take 2 minutes in the calm down corner to get yourself together, and then you can come back and join the rest of the class. And you don't gotta make no announcements. You don't gotta say nothing to nobody. Just go ahead and handle your business, come back. So putting that out there and also modeling that. Like, there's times I will walk myself to the calm down corner because y'all are wilding. I said stop talking mad times already. I already said I'm taking it, and you're trying it. Mm-hmm. I asked the same question 10 times. Mm-hmm. Y'all not getting it. I'll be like, Miss McGhie needs a minute. And I will like walk out, or I'll go stand in the back corner and I'll circle and I'll exaggerate it so that they can see me doing the strategies. But like I legit need a minute. Yeah. And I'm modeling that. So it opens the door for like conversations and transparencies, so just giving kids the space, giving kids the time, but also not letting them run over you, because they're smart enough to finesse. So if you just make excuses like, oh, he's going through something and he can't, no. Yes, you're going through something. Yes, you might need a little bit more time. You still gonna do it. Sorry. I get it. You're mad. Your mom's screaming at you out the car this morning. You can't get over it.
That's real. That's real.
You can go work in the corner independently. Or if you still feel like this space is too much, go take a walk. Come back. However, by the end of class, I still need you to do this thing. Mm-hmm. So however much time you need, take your time. Mm-hmm. You still got to do this. So keep that in mind.
Love it. I love it.
I'll take you during recess then. Hey, if you so mad during class, I'll take you during recess then. You can have a working lunch with me. Go to the caf, get your lunch. Come on, right? Do this work. Let's go. We're gonna do it again, right? So still holding them to a high expectation, but also like showing them empathy at the same time. It's like a little delicate dance. Miss McGhie? Oh, because Miss McGhie works for DCPS. Kelsie does not. Okay. Kelsie does not work here. So I need you. You're frustrated. I'm gonna let that one go. But you don't got no more mother effers. You don't got no more of those to use, friend. So get it together, and I'm still gonna call your mother.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a snitch. Yeah, I'm calling your mom. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Finally, what does the phrase "do not disturb" mean to you in context of your journey and your self-growth?
Do not disturb. Leave me alone. But like not in a bad like put me under the covers, lock me in a dark room way. Just like teaching is a lot.
Okay.
Like just the career. If you're a teacher, if you're in education, it is a lot. You carry a lot with you, especially like we're not supposed to have favorite kids, but we have favorite kids, and some of those kids are going through things that adults would never never experienced, right? So to think that a 10-year-old or 15-year-old or however old is dealing with homelessness, dealing with taking care of their siblings, like all of these different things that they're dealing with, and they're showing up to school every single day, right? You want to just naturally help, like, yo, mom, do you need me to pick them up? Like, oh, I'll buy them lunch. Like, you know, you want to extend because you care.
Absolutely.
So when I think about do not disturb, it's about caring for you. Like, I care. My whole job is caring about other people.
Yeah.
My whole day is about problem solving and being flexible. And from 7 a.m., my brain is on nonstop.
Yeah.
Until I get in the car. And even then, my brain still might be on because we got an email about something, or we got a phone call that this kid, something happened, right? So your brain is constantly on. So when I think about do not disturb, I don't want to talk to nobody. So a lot of times I get the name that I'm the one that you can't reach. Like people can't talk to me. And it's not because I'm doing it on purpose. It's just I've been talking all day.
That's right.
Like, you know, like just imagine repeating, stop talking, do your work, be nice. That's rude. Hold on. That was out of pocket. Let's talk about that as a class because whoa, right? Like you're constantly talking. Right. So do not disturb. I'm not talking. I'm not saying anything. My phone is off. Or it's on do not disturb, and I got my PJs on, I'm rubbing my feet together in the bed, and I might be playing Candy Crush or listening to music or just something that is thoughtless, that I don't have to think about because my brain is always on. So do not disturb is like that time for me to decompress and not necessarily reflect on my day, but just do nothing.
I know that's right.
Do nothing.
Self-care.
Don't be obligated to anybody or anything. You just are able to exist in whatever space you want to.
Absolutely.
So some days that looks like me getting in the bed. Some days it looks like me watching TV. Some days it looks like me going for a walk. Right? But it's like indulging in something that literally does not disturb me.
Absolutely. It's for
and
you.
Where I am.
It's for you. I love that. This has been an amazing conversation. So many insight, real talk about what it means to be an educator today and the impact of teaching beyond the classroom. Today's episode of Do Not Disturb. Thank you guys for watching. So before I wrap up this episode, I want to ask you, what kinds of conversations do you want to hear on the Do Not Disturb podcast? Drop a comment, send me a message, and let's make this a space that truly reflects the topics and stories that matter to you. If you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any future episodes. I promise we will have some incredible guests and discussions coming your way. And with that, welcome to a Do Not Disturb podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, sometimes the best way to truly listen is to put everything on Do Not Disturb. Until next time.